everyone. Welcome back to another episode 11 of our Satisfactory Update 5 gameplay series. And on this episode, we are going to continue with our Tier 5 milestones. So sit back, relax, and let's jump into it. So before we get too carried away with our milestones that we're going to be jumping into, which is going to be the alternative fluid transport option here, which the only thing that we need to do is get a heavy modular frame construction system up and running. And then we've got gas masks, which we got to do, which would entail us getting fabrics getting processed as well too. But we've got some research that we need to dive into and have a look at. So if we look at alien organism, this one here, we still don't have whatever that we need 5 of for, which I think is coming under, it's going to be under one of these options. Under Caterium though, I did here the other day find a Caterium node and just start making some of the Caterium wires. So we'll be able to actually complete some of these. Like the zipline we'll be able to get done. We'll be able to get the AI limiter done. We should be able to get the Mark II power poles done, which that basically means we're going to be able to hook up, like, I think it's 8 wires to it instead of the limit of 4 that we have. So those we've got the materials for. I just got to go and actually pick them up. And then what else we've got here? For the smart splitter, we need to be able to make the AI limiters, and then we'll be able to unlock those. And then AI limiters are also needed for getting the power switch done. So we've got a little bit, we've got 3 things here that we can get completed right away. Mycelium, again, that's going to come into play once we get the fabric manufacturing up and running. Nutrients, I think we've got stators, so we can go and get the stators and get that completed and unlock the next little bit. Power slugs. I did find an orange power slug, so we can actually get this stepped out as well too. And then the quartz for getting the silica, and then we should be able to get the crystal oscillator completed. And that will get us the pattern for being able to make, or the recipe for making crystal oscillators, which is what we need for being able to complete something out of the Caterium trees. So it all kind of works itself back to each other. Sulfur, we're still a little ways away from actually starting to crank out the gunpowder because I've been using all of our coal for either steel production or for power generation. So that's kind of like a no, not happening right now. Unless I use some of the coal that I actually have in my inventory. I've got some just plain coal, and we could handcraft it maybe. That might be an option for us, but we'll see. And then, of course, the Fixmas event, which I did on the last episode. These stars are still manufacturing. It's going to take a few days for those to build because that machine that I've got those cranking out is not running at 100%. I let it run for, let's see, I think I turned it on the last night. Let it run through the night until today. And we've got like 111 of the 500 that we need to be able to get this turned in. So we still got a ways to go. Maybe before Christmas, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. As of the dates that I am recording this, it is the 19th of December. We're getting really close to Christmas, but so we're gonna get a few of these done. So I'm gonna go and gather up the materials we need, and then we'll be right back. So just up here is where I built the Caterium line. There was a pure node over there that we have pushing our way this way, and the downside with Caterium is, because it requires 45 per minute, we couldn't actually like take full advantage of all the Caterium that we could here. So we're basically processing, what is it, 180 of the Caterium right now. And we might be able to put one more smelter, or no, actually we do have 5 of them running here. So we got 225 Caterium that we are actually processing right now. And that is all getting fed through back, and right now we're just manufacturing wire out of all this, and then it's stored in here, and then any of the excess wire is shooting on down into the Awesome Sync to get us Awesome Sync tickets, of which I did spend a bunch and get some new upgrades, which if I look on our little build platform here, under, let's see, Fixmas, that's just the new things that we just got from our Fixmas event. Production, there was nothing new. Power, I've got the wall, double wall socket, and the wall socket now available to us, so we can hook power lines directly to a wall rather than having to put poles everywhere. Logistics, we were fine that way. Organization, I got some ceiling lights, some floodlights, some wall-mounted floodlights. Transportation, of course, we got the new truck, but that was from one of the earlier milestones. Foundations, we were fine. Walls, that's all still where we were at. And then I think it's under architecture, where I've got a bunch more things. We got like floor frames, glass frame foundations. We've got frame foundations. We got frame ramps. We got inverted ramps, so to make it like a scaffolding type thing. We've added roofs as well, so we've got all the roof platforms. I've added the metal beams and the painted beams, as well as beam connectors, beam supports, big pillars. We got concrete pillars now. I've added those, so eventually we can start to actually make the build look a little better. I think I actually have all of the architecture stuff accumulated now. I don't think there's any more tickets I can spend under that tree. So I'm going to continue grabbing up the materials we need to turn in the research. Okay, so I've gathered up the materials. Let's have a look at our research and see kind of where we get to. So Caterium, to be able to get the zip line, I need 100 of the Caterium wire as well as 50 cable. Start the research. That's going to take 5 minutes. Once that's done, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so that little bit of research is complete. Now we can continue on here. So we now have the ability to be able to make the zip line. Let's head into the AI limiter. We need 200 of the Caterium wire as well as 50 of the copper sheeting. We'll start that research. That one's only 3 seconds. That one's nice and quick. Boom, that's done. Next is Power Poles Mark II, and that is 300 Caterium wire. We're starting that research. That's going to take 5 minutes. Let's see what happens after that's done. Okay, so that little bit of research is complete. The next thing that we can actually do that got unlocked out of this was getting the high-speed connector done, which required 500 of the Caterium wire and 50 plastic, of which we have each of those. That's a quick research for that. Boom, that is complete. What's next on our list here? Now it looks like we've got some manufacturing to do on those and manufacturing to do on those as well. For the Mark III poles and power switches, smart splitters, everything there is going to require some manufacturing. Okay, mycelia, we're nothing on there. Nutrients, we can actually unlock this because we have our stators with us. So let's start that research. That's another quick one. That is now complete, and it just basically gave us another option for an inhaler recipe, which is actually like pretty cheap. It's I think we actually have all of those materials sitting here right now that we could turn that in, but I don't know if I have enough inventory room. Let's do this. That should generate enough inventory room for us that we can head over to nutrients. Click that. Can't afford. What am I? Wow, I am one of the nuts shy. Like, I'm pretty sure there are some right around this corner here somewhere. I'm almost positive. Okay, so I found a few of those. We should have enough now to be able to go into nutrients, select this, start research, and that just gives us an alternate recipe that's a little cheaper to build than it was with the, I think it's like the monster's guts, and mycelium is what the other one was to be able to make the nutrients. So that is that complete. Next is power slugs. We have the orange power slug. That's going to get us a power shard, of which we did get some of them through the Fixmas Advent calendar, but now we can actually make them for ourselves. And now there's the purple power shard, of which I know I have a purple slug sitting in my little storage chest here. We can run up now on this and research that, and that's going to give us the purple power shard as well too. And that's another 3-second little tweak. Okay, that research is all complete. What's next? Quartz. Well, this here required 20 quartz crystals. We're going to start researching that. that's going to get us to be able to the ability to make silica. We can now craft the silica, and then this here, we need 100 of the quartz crystals and hard plating. So I just got to make some of the quartz crystals, and that we will just do manually from our little workbench in here, because it's going to be faster than just trying to go build something to take care of it. So let's head down here, crank these out, and this should get us, we need 100 of these total, so this won't take too long here as we crank these. As soon as these are done, we'll get back and we'll step it out to the next phase. Okay, we literally just had enough quartz to be able to do that, so we can head over to the quartz tree now, and now we can get the crystal oscillator unlocked. That is now unlocked for us. What is the next phase we got to do here? We actually have to build 5 of these crystal oscillators. So once we have 5 of those built, we can step out to the next little bit of research. So the last little bit of research that I can do right now that I have the materials for is a hard drive. I do have one hard drive that we can scan and start researching, so we're going to get that going, and that's going to take 10 minutes to complete, and then we'll see what alternate recipe we get out of this new hard drive. All right, the hard drive just finished. Let's reach over here, and so it's giving us some alternate recipes to be able to make, let's see, copper ingots. Well, that doesn't, an alternative blueprint is 15, what is that? 10 copper and 5 iron to make 20 copper. I don't necessarily know that that's a great deal. And then pipe and concrete to be able to make reinforced iron or industrial cased, encased industrial pipes, which, okay. Next one is to be able to take, what do we got here? Like iron ingots into copper wire? Well, we got more than enough copper wire coming out. I'm trying to think, like, what is the original recipe for this? It's iron beams, and now it wants to use iron pipes for that. I guess we'll take this one. I don't know. It's I don't know if any of them are really worth the effort of trying to go through. There wasn't anything that kind of left out on me on that. As the one I'd like to get is, I think it's either compressed or compact coal, because we can just like seriously step up our coal power production, because we can convert it into compact. But that's, I mean, we'll get there when we get some more hard drives and stuff unlocked. But now we need to come up with a plan to be able to continue with our tier 5 milestones that we want to get completed. And the first things first is we need to get modular frames getting built. So how do we build a modular frame? Let's start off, let's grab ourselves a constructor and see if it shows up in here. I'm going to think it's probably not out of a constructor, but we'll look anyway. We'll have a quick look here. We're looking through. We do have the silica that shows up on here now, and the power shards show up on here, some of the Fixmas stuff, but no, it is not done on a constructor, so that can go bye-bye. Next would be, okay, then we're going to assume the next one is going to be an assembler. Does it get built in an assembler to be able to do that? So we have the modular frames. It's a heavy modular frames that we're looking for. Not seeing them anywhere on here as an alternate to be able to build. Okay, so it's not in an assembler. Does that mean it's in a manufacturer? And what does it take? It takes 10 modular frames to make a modular. Okay, so that doesn't seem to make sense. So, is it a refinery? Let's look and see if it shows up in our refineries, because it shouldn't take the material that we're trying to make to pull this off. So we've got a refinery in place here now. We're going to click on this, and it's not in a refinery. Okay, well, it's a good thing that it's been the Fixmas event, because we ended up getting 21 heavy modular frames. Actually, you know what? I think I picked up the heavy modular frames from one of the crash sites. I think that's right, because it does actually come from the manufacturer, where we actually build these. And what does it take? It takes a modular frame. It takes 10 modular frames per minute, 30 steel pipes per minute, 10 encased industrial steel beams, and 200 screws to be able to slap this all together. That's a pile of stuff that goes into manufacturing these. That is ridiculous. And how much do we get out of it? That gets us 2 per minute of the heavy modular frames. Well, yikes. That's going to take a bit. So we've got to go find a place where we're going to get this assembled. It's a good thing. Now that I think of it, I'm pretty sure I found them from a crash site. Because that's the only way to build it, is you needed them to build it. And, you know, I have 21 of them in my inventory here right now. And you need to build those. And to build those, you need that piece of equipment. And you need that component that it's being built to make. Makes no sense. It is what it is, but thank goodness we found it at a crash site. Now we got to figure out where we're actually going to put this into our assembly out here, or into our factory, or where it's going to fit best. Okay, so just over from our steel manufacturing, where we're making our versatile framework and our stators and our what is this here? Automated wiring. There's the stators, and then our encased industrial beams. I've gone and placed down a manufacturer over here, and I have this set to the heavy modular frame recipe on there. So, where are we getting all the materials from? So basically, this feed line that I have coming up from the storage container downstairs there on the next level down, that's running over and feeding our versatile framework, I'm pulling a line off of that is feeding into here to be able to provide us our modular frames. Next, I have the same thing coming from our steel pipe that's coming from the floor below. I put a splitter in line here, and we're feeding directly down into this unit that's getting us our steel pipe that we require. Then from our industrial encased steel beams, I have those over here. They're feeding along just like so, and over into this manufacturer as well. And then the screws I am pulling all the way over from our extra screw storage that comes off of all of our assembly for our heavy plates down here. There was an abundance of extra screws down here. So I have those filtering down and running through, and that's what's topping off this manufacturer. And then of course we have it powered up. And then this here is now cranking out 2 heavy modular frames per minute. And they are going to get stored in here. We've got 5 of them in here now. I'm going to throw the extra ones in here. That's 11 of them. I think, like, we are cooking along here. Everything else in here is full. So we're not lagging at all. I could even maybe split these again and add another one of these in here. But the big thing right now with getting everything unlocked at this point in the game is, can we manufacture everything? Let's get everything manufactured, and we need to get all of the different tiers unlocked. So now it's just a waiting game now for this to be able to stockpile a bunch of these modular frames. And I'm going to go quickly check and see how many we need, come back and grab them to look at our next step for being able to get to the next milestone. Okay, so I've just gathered up all of the materials required. Let's get into our alternative fluid transportation tier 5 milestone. Select the milestone. Let's start loading everything in. So we've got our heavy modular frames. We have our motors loaded. We have our plastic loaded. And then 3,000 copper wire, that's a lot of copper wire it requires. But there we go. Launch away. And
milestone reached.
That
Fluids
milestone's
can now
complete.
Be packaged to allow for transportation via vehicle and conveyor belts. Additionally, highly improved biofuel can now be produced.
See you later, delivery pod. Please don't crash. Mind you, I guess we get a hard drive if you do. All right, so what do we need next for the next milestone? So the final milestone for Tier 5 is gas mask. Well, the only thing that we're not manufacturing right now is the fabric. And the fabric looks like it takes biomass and mycelium. This year, I don't think this is going to be like a regular production line up here. I think it's going to be a matter of us just slapping down an assembler here with and manually feeding in what we want into it. So I'm going to grab a production assembler here right now, and I'm just going to drop this down. Oh, I don't have any of the materials to be able to build it. Let me get the materials first, and then we'll put this down. Okay, I've gathered up everything that we need to be able to build this. Let's just slap down an assembler here that we can have just as a manual assembler. And so this here, we're going to get it set up to making fabric, and it requires mycelium and biomass. Well, we're just going to put down here, we'll go with a simple little container. Let's go into our organization. I'm just going to go with one of the small containers here first. Make sure that that lines up totally fine there. And then we'll put another one at this input, right wherever that lines up. I'm thinking that doesn't line up perfectly. And then I'm only going to use like a simple little Mark III conveyor because this is going to be such a simple little manufacturing process for these. Okay, and then we're going to put another one of these storage containers just on the outside. And that lines up with another Mark III, or Mark I conveyor, not Mark III. So there's Mark I conveyors on all of these. And then we need to get some power over here, so we'll just grab right from here. We'll hook this up, and I'm going to make sure. So this is set at the manufacturing of fabric. So then I'm just going to quickly run over here. And I know I've got some biomass kicking around here somewhere. That is, here's 200 biomass, and then I need the mycelium, and I've got 132 mycelium. So I'm just going to go, I'm going to throw one of these in here with the biomass. That's going to get loaded in on that side. This side here is going to be our mycelium. And then this is just going to crank these out and fire them out at this end. We're not going to need, I don't think we need a huge amount of the fabric. And this is just more for us to be able to get this tiered out than it is for really anything else. And it's all right to throw down, if you just need a quick little assembler line here, we'll go ahead and build it. Not everything needs to be a great big huge manufacturing process. Throw down a small little assembler, put a couple of containers on it so that you can easily pass the items through. And this assembler, I think I might just leave it here for anything that I might need to quickly make in the future, where I could just throw the raw materials in one end, get the finished product out the other end, and bingo, bango, we've got everything we need. So I'm just going to wait for this fabric to finish manufacturing. I might have to go out and actually get some more of the mycelium, because I'm not entirely sure if I've got enough to be able to get what we need to get this unlocked. So hold on while we gather up all the materials. Okay, so one thing with us being able to manufacture this fabric that's over here now is we can actually take some of that fabric, run over to our research here at the MAM, and I believe it was under mycelium where we could make the parachute. So we're going to start that research, and now we get the recipe to be able to make the parachute. And we have now finished mycelium research. So what have we got left? Like, there's a little bit left on alien organism. It seems like there's still a fair bit happening under Caterium because it's more technology based. Mycelium is done. Nutrients is done. Power slugs is done. Quartz, we're about halfway through. And we still got a long ways to go under sulfur. And then, of course, our Fixmus 1. We're actively making these right now. So, but that was nice to be able to get that quick little research out of the way. Okay, so we have now gathered up everything we need to finish this last bit of Tier 5, and that is the gas mask. So we're selecting the milestones for this. We needed rubber, 200 rubber going in. We need 100 plastic going in and 50 cloth and launch away. We can now craft the gas mask and the
Milestone
filters.
reached. Gas masks and filter parts will ensure increased odds of survival in gas-based hazardous environments. Fixit Incorporated would like to extend the friendly advice to not forget to change filters regularly.
Okay, so gas filters. We need rubber, we need fabric, and we need coal to be able to make that. Well, I know I have the coal here. I'm going to grab some of that. And I think there's still a little bit of fabric being manufactured over there, so we'll grab that. So we can at least say that we've built a filter. Let's head down here. There's our filter. We're going to craft out... I'll do a couple of those. Good, good, good. That didn't take long at all. Okay, so now, next is the actual gas mask assembly itself. What do we need for that? We need a bunch of rubber, plastic, and some more of the fabric. Well, I know I'm not going to have near enough fabric out of here. In fact, I'm probably going to be pretty close to being done. We've got 9 here right now. What do we got on us? Let's just sort this out real quick. We got 14, so 24. And 35. Yeah, we're going to be a little bit short. So I'm going to go and do a little bit of a walk around and get some more of the mycelium. I think we'll be okay for the biomass, though. I think we'll have enough for the biomass. So it's just a matter of us gathering up some more cloth. So I'm going to gather up that real quick. We're going to make the gas mask, and then that's going to be used for being able to head in. There's a purple cloud over there. We'll just walk into that cave and have a look around and see what's going on with the new mask on. Alright, so we have gathered everything up that we need to be able to make the gas mask. Let's find it in our little list of items here. Let's craft that bad boy up, and now we have a gas mask that we can carry around with us, and a couple of filters to go with it. Now let's see what happens when we actually put this on. And that, of course, goes onto our body, and now we have a gas mask, and we have the filters for it. Of course, that means we had to take off our Blade Runners, because, of course, we can't have 2 body-equipped items at the same time. So, I mean, we could get in the habit of... We could leave the Blade Runners on until we get close to the mask, and then throw the mask on when we need it. So we'll just fly up here right now to get up here, to get a little faster. Okay, now we're in kind of a problematic spot here, so we're going to throw on the gas mask. It is on, and we're going in. And filter 1 is doing its thing. So I have not explored through here at all. Oh, it does look like there's a purple power slug up there that we could grab. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of anything else really worth the effort of coming down in here, though. And we are nearly out of the gas room, the gas chamber. There, we're in fresh air now. So as we can see, it didn't consume too much of our first filter. I mean, it did start consuming it, but I mean, it's to be expected. But now when we're out exploring, we make sure we've got a good stack of the filters with us. And we won't have to worry about, you know, oh, wow, we're going to have to go around this piece. No, if we need to build a conveyor through it, we can build a conveyor through it, and it's not going to hurt us anymore. So let's do a quick recap of where we got to here so far. So we did a bunch of research on the MAM and unlocked a whole pile of things that we need later on in-game on here. So MAM research is a plus. Plus we got a hard drive out of the way as well, too. And then under Tier 5, we have completed Tier 5 now. We were able to finish the alternative fluid transport as well as gas mask. So Tier 5 is now complete. And with that, we have our first manufacturer now out here on our assembly line. That's the larger machine that's located just over there. You can see it off into our horizon. That right now is making heavy modular frames. And then we also have our Caterium node up here that is working away at 225 Caterium per minute, smelting those into bars, And then right now, just manufacturing it into wire that is being filtered down and dumped into our awesome sink right now, just so that we've got points that are ticking up. So I did empty the points before I started recording here. I've been recording footage now for, I want to say, about almost 2 hours worth. So in 2 hours, we've gained another 22 tickets. We'll print those tickets. I will take those tickets, and let's head over to our awesome shop and kind of have a look and see what we can pick up here. So I kind of want to get the factory cart, but I'm not really sure if I want to get that right away, because there's other things that we could get. So architecture I've done. I have bought everything out of architecture now. Organization, there is still the light control panel that we could get, plus there's some skins available. Under walls, now there are some pretty cool things in here. So we have steel framed windows. You know what, I think that's something that we should start looking at maybe getting. So I'm going to purchase those. We're going to add those to the cart. Let's go back to the shop. Hello. Why isn't it not going back to... Oh, wait. Let's just click on walls. That'll work. Gates. I'm not sure. Conveyor walls. Conveyor walls are kind of cool. We're going to add those. Back to walls here. You know what? We might as well get the gate as well, too. We'll add that. Windowed walls. We'll add that to the cart. I kind of like the doorways too. We're going to add those. What does that put us? 19. So that leaves us 3 more tickets that we could spend on here. So let's just close out of our cart and see what we've got for 3 tickets that we could. So attachments. There are the wall-mounted conveyors. Arms are actually kind of cool as well too. And then there's the hypertube stuff. I haven't even started really playing around with hypertube. And then there's the pipe wall attachments, but those have been kind of a little bit finicky. Like, I tried using the floor one, and I kept getting, like, 0 flow after it. So what's left under foundations that are 3 tickets? We have double ramps. Okay, that's kind of cool. Those might be useful. And then under the Fix Me Special stuff, this is all like trophies, more in-game stuff where we're going to be dumping 1,000 tickets into getting the golden nuts. So, customizer, this is probably not a bad place to maybe spend some of our points. We could get steel roofs, a tar roof. We could get various markings and stuff for like pathways and roads and stuff. And then under equipment, you know what? It's probably not a bad idea if I spend the last, get another batch of beacons, because I've only got like 4 of those left. Oh, we can actually buy the filters directly from here too. So if we had like an excess amount of tickets, we could just buy them. The med packs are here. I've already got the coffee cup, our ammunition, and then parts too. We can actually dump into here to be able to buy some of the parts if we don't feel like hand making them to be able to get an achievement done, to get a particular machine done. We could actually just dump some of our tickets into the physical parts themselves. I don't know if I'm necessarily on board with that. So what do I have left? I have 2 points left. So I'm going to get the wall-mounted conveyors, and we're going to add those. Let's go to our cart, buy all, and we're going to grab those beacons and add them to this pile. So I've got 14 beacons on me now. And that's how the Awesome Shop works. So those tickets that we get dumping into here, that we're making from wire right now, is how we end up getting all of these cool little add-ons, like our railings and our staircases and our walkways and all that kind of fun stuff. So I think right now this is probably about as good a place as any to maybe call it for this episode. I think we've done... the next phase is really going to start ramping into some more production and stuff. So it's going to be... to be able to get to the next components done, it's going to be a lot of work to step that out. So we'll call it here. Thank you guys for watching the episode. Don't forget to reach down and hit the like button on the video. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. And reach out and find me on my social medias, Instagram and Twitter, at TerraceDWDC. And check out the website for our cool merch, which is terracedwdc.com. And with that said, you guys have a good one. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Peace out.